What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Matt Burrill, here to tell you guys about my friends from Big Friendly Productions. Now, they specialize in creating merchandise for bands, artists, and even lifestyle brands. With their in-house equipment, they can provide shirts, branded hats, and more, as well as some graphic design services. They offer order fulfillment to handle your online orders and ship your merch straight to your fans from their shop down in good old Birmingham, Alabama, baby. Now, whether you are getting your first shirt, you're just starting out, or you're going on a 40-show run, hit them up for all your merchandising needs. Check out their website, bigfriendlyproductions.com, or shoot them an email, merchandising@bigfriendlyproductions.com. Now, we're going to get into the episode. This is Outside the Round with Matt Burrill. Also, make sure you guys like, rate, subscribe, tell your mama and them. And for more details and to get in touch with the rest of the familia, visit raisrowdy.com. Now, let's get into it. Outside the Round with me, Matt Burrill, a Raise Rowdy podcast.
This is Outside the Round with Matt Burrill, a Raise Rowdy podcast.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Matt Burrill. And today we have got a very special guest on this week's episode of Outside the Round. We've had a lot of young guys and girls on recently, a lot of folks that we see here in town that there's a buzz around and that are doing the damn thing and doing it at a very young age. And this guy today, we've got our good buddy, Mr. Carson Wallace with us. Carson's somebody that we've had our eyes on with Raise Rowdy and with back when I was doing In the Round and now Outside the Round for a while, dude. And glad we were finally able to make this podcast
Man,
happen,
I know. Thanks for having me, bro. You guys have been nothing but the best to me, and so I'm stoked to do this too. You know, it's been really fun 2 years. You know.
Yeah, dude. So what did you do this weekend?
Man, I just got back from a writers retreat. We rented this house in like Kentucky Lake. It's like right in Dover, Tennessee, and so middle of nowhere. But it was perfect for what we were doing. So we wrote a bunch of songs and probably had too much fun, but it was good, man.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Who else was on that retreat with you?
Yeah, it was Jordan Dawsey, Matt Mulhare, Claire Park, Trent Wayne, Zach John King,
dude,
all the homies, man.
That's a crew of people because like I know Matt and Trent are kind of close, and obviously Jordan and Clara, and then that's like a mix of just some of my favorite individual like up and coming songwriters in Nashville, all in one cabin. That's a sick retreat.
It was so dope. I mean, I love all those guys. I've written with most of them, like at least once, you know, and so to just get all of us together and just hang out too. I feel like there's something special about when you know that you're staying in that house for a couple days and it's like there's just like pressure that's lifted off your shoulders and you can just have fun and you can just write for fun and it's just so cool.
What do you do besides writing songs? Like what is, because to me like if we did like a Raise Rowdy writing retreat, it would be like a frat house, you know, like our vibe is like that.
It can definitely get there for sure. I mean, we hung, we obviously like cooked meals and stuff, and then we went to these like random dive bar, like Hicktown little like spots like around town, you know, and so they were all like far away, but it was so fun just like kind of seeing the local scene there and watching some of these cover bands because it was hilarious. Yeah. And then, I don't know, just hanging out and being stupid. So it was good.
So for you, coming from where you come from, you're a SoCal kid, right?
Yeah, kind of SoCal, like Central Cali, definitely not north, but yeah, we're it's a cool spot because we're kind of so close to everything.
Everybody make it okay with the
hurricane.
What did it
right?
finally get classified as? Because it was a tropical storm, then it was a hurricane, then it was a tsunami.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't really know honestly, but all I know is it just rained at my house. I really, and I think there were some big waves on the ocean, but I think they hyped it up to be a lot worse than it was going to be. Yeah, but it was weird. I've never seen that necessarily, you know, so. Wild.
Yeah, because I was down in Florida on vacation that weekend when, and I remember watching the Weather Channel and being like, oh shit, Cali's getting fucked. But then it was like, after it was like, aside from that picture of Dodger Stadium, which people don't realize, Dodger Stadium's like elevated, so no shit, it's gonna flood around there. But they hyped it up and dramatized it a little more than what it would have been. Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah, but it was funny. I was like, this is gonna be interesting, and then. I guess it wasn't that bad.
Is your family still out there?
Yeah, so my mom and dad and brother all still are out there in the town we grew up in. It's cool to see them, and it's always fun to go out there. They definitely are stoked that I'm out here doing this, but they miss me still.
What do you miss most aside from like family and friends, which is like the obvious answer?
Yeah.
What do you miss most about your hometown?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like I just miss it geographically. It's funny because you go somewhere like Nashville and you're kind of landlocked, and like there's not necessarily any crazy mountains or anything. It's kind of just the South, you know?
Yeah.
But then you go out there and you literally like you look up from basically wherever you are and you can see some set of mountains. And like my hometown is right at the base of Sierra Nevada, so it's like
that's beautiful.
10,000-foot mountains like right there. And
that's ridiculous.
Mount Whitney is like 40 like miles from my house. Like it takes forever to get there, but it's like really, really close, and it's like 14,000. It's the biggest mountain in the continental United States, you know? So it's like that's right in my backyard, and then the beach is like 2.5 hours away. And then you have the desert and LA and everything else. And it's just like, it's hard to beat that when you're, you know? And so every time I go, I'm like, dang it. This is pretty cool, you know?
So why Nashville? Because LA is a music city as well. It is, but it's a city of a lot of stuff.
Exactly.
Like, not just music. You have obviously Hollywood. You have businesses. You have Napa Valleys, or like the, what is it, like the Silicon Valley? You have so much opportunity within California. What inspired you to want to come to Nashville and go to Belmont?
Yeah. I feel like for me, Nashville has always been this place that like feels set apart from LA. And I'm in talking to people, it's like LA is such a creative hub for sure, but it's like if you truly want a collaborative spirit of everybody's trying to help out each other, and especially country music, like Nashville is the spot, you know. And I have an uncle that is a writer in town. His name's Marv Green, and so he's been here 30 years now, and so I've always grown up with him flying writers out from Nashville to California to do this writers round, and these guys always seem like the coolest human beings and like genuine and kind, but also extremely talented. And so it's like when I had to decide where I kind of wanted to be after high school, it was like making the most sense to be in Nashville. You know, I kind of consider Texas. I really enjoy the scene down there and the music that comes out of there. But ultimately, it was like the songs are being written in Nashville. You know, and so Belmont was kind of a vessel for a 17-year-old to get here, you know?
Yeah, dude.
So,
and Texas has a lot of Cali influence in it. You can get an In-N-Out burger in Austin.
1,000,000%, yeah.
We just did a podcast recently with Mike Ryan over on the Raise Rowdy channel. The Raise Rowdy podcast I filled in for Kurt and co-hosted that with Nikki T.
Yeah, he was just in town, I think, last week or something.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he played over at Whiskey Jam and was doing his hanging out and going around town and meeting with like the different DSPs and all that shit. Yeah. But I had him make his case for Whataburger. What is your case for In-N-Out? Why is In-N-Out the best burger? Because I've done a lot of touring with McAway and being out on the road and stuff. And whenever we have an In-N-Out in the area, it is a thing. As tour manager, I would go and I'd get everybody's burgers and we'd go animal style. Like we'd get after.
Come on.
Why is In-N-Out the best burger?
Dude, well, okay, one of the things you just said, it's like the animal style sauce is out of this world. It's hard to beat. And what I love about it is it's all fresh. Literally, that's why In-N-Out has to choose where they put their locations so strategically, because they have to have a facility where they get the meat fresh each and every day. And so I totally believe that makes a difference. You can taste it when you eat, like, have the burger. And then, I mean, the fries, impeccable, so good. And then the shakes are like so simple, but they're the hardest hitting shakes still to this day.
What's your go-to In-N-Out order?
Man, I go nuts. I get a 4x4.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah. So I get a 4x4, just spread only. So it's just the meat, cheese, and the, sauce, and then some fries, and then I get like the three-way swirled shake.
Yeah, I do the Neapolitan shake as well, dude. I'm a Neapolitan. I think it's is it the big double? What is the
double double?
The double double. I do a double double animal style fries, animal style.
Yeah.
And we're all battling for the green room bathroom after that.
Oh yeah, it'll happen. Yeah, but I love it, man. I love
it too. Do you miss are there any other foods back home that you miss? Man. Like Mexican's got to be good, right?
Oh, I mean, it's kind of like, there's so many people that come from Mexico that end up in like my area, and so the Mexican restaurants are so good.
Oh, the street tacos have to be absurd.
The taco trucks are nuts. They're so good. And then every little like restaurant is a family-owned thing that has literally been there forever, and so it goes so hard. I've struggled to find somewhere here that
you got to go to Antioch, bro.
No, okay. There's Antioch.
You got to go to Antioch.
I've heard there's a place out there.
Gringas.
There's a place in Franklin that's like in the strip mall, like by Kroger.
Dude,
it's so good.
I can't imagine a Franklin strip mall being my favorite Mexican spot in Nashville.
You got to try it first. It's called Los Primos, man. It's come on.
Primos, like premium. Yeah.
Well, it's actually the cousins.
Okay,
but,
cousins. Okay.
But
I got to work on my Spanish.
I love it. It goes hard. So yeah, it has been. I miss that, and I miss like Santa Maria style cooking.
What is
basically
that
it's like grilling. So when you come here and you say we're gonna barbecue, usually that means like on a Traeger full of like sauces and all this, right? Well, I mean back there it's like Santa Maria style barbecue is literally just. It's like open flame fires on like actual red oak wood. And so basically you're like charring steaks rare, and they have like baseball cuts, which they're starting to do here more. But
what's a baseball cut?
So it's basically like a cut of steak that is literally just, it looks like a baseball, So it's like where you might get a steak that's like kind of looks like a small piece of wood or something like here. Like these are just baseball sized steaks, and so they're the best. They're my favorite, and basically what you get when you get a fillet, but they cut it out of other things too.
Are you a big sports guy?
Yeah.
So what are your teams?
Oh man, USC for sure for football.
USC and
like college. Like
my girlfriend is a USC fan, but University of South Carolina. She claims that is USC.
I hear you. Nah, come on. That's University of South Carolina. USC is USC to me. I mean, so I always grew up like going to those games and hating UCLA. My dad went there, so it's definitely
you're a little young in general, but like you kind of missed out on the. Do you remember the Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush?
No, I don't. I like briefly I've heard so much about it. I remember it, but no, I missed out on that.
Like, dude, those teams were so fucking
stacked,
good.
Man.
They were so much fun to watch. I used to
man.
stay up late, like past my bedtime on a Saturday, which luckily was a Saturday, so you don't really have a bedtime. You don't have school the next day. But like, I remember staying up late watching those Pac-10 games back in the day,
dude. Oh, nuts! And I mean, this year they might be good. We got this QB from Oklahoma, and obviously that coach came over, and so. I'm excited. We almost did good last year, and so we'll see.
So college football is your big
Yeah,
thing.
I'm not a big NFL guy. I honestly just have never really dove into it hard. I feel like in college they still have so much to prove that I feel like they just play harder, and there's so many teams that it makes it really interesting.
Yeah,
so
and then is USC are they moving conferences?
Yeah, they're moving to the Big Ten.
Fucking crazy. They're gonna have to fly they're gonna have to play at some point. They're gonna have to go to New Brunswick, New Jersey, and play Rutgers, and College Park, Maryland, and play Maryland.
Yeah,
it's crazy how it's geographically so different now.
Yeah, I know it'll be cool. And those guys will have to go to LA.
Yeah, dude, those guys will have to go to LA and have that jet lag, dude. It's gonna be a whole different thing, but it's going to be cool to see like the classic matchup.
I think USC was tired of having 10 o'clock games, like you were saying, and like nobody back east could watch them. So they were like, "No, we gotta step it up here." The Pac-12 is kind of going like this.
Yeah,
anyway,
now what you would have to wait for a Rose Bowl matchup to play Michigan or Ohio State or Wisconsin. Now you'll have that on the regular season schedule. It's gonna be cool. Do you play a lot of sports?
Yeah, man. I played football up until like 8th grade, and I mean, I played pretty hard, and so I think a little bit of burnout, a little bit of like didn't like my coaches, so I actually quit that, and then played water polo in high school.
Water polo. Oh, so I did that, and I wasn't on like a team, but I was like an activity in like middle school and like high school, like gym classes.
Way.
We had a
That's
pool.
crazy.
We had a pool at our school.
Yeah, man. It's brutal, but it's fun. I mean, I thought football was tough, but you get in a pool and you can't touch the bottom, and you have to fend for yourself. It's brutal, but it was fun. So I did that and golf, like two extreme opposites. But
you get out in the links a lot here in Nashville, don't you?
Well, lately I feel like I've been more. It took me a while to really get out there, but I love it. I feel like that's the only sport in high school. I told myself like, I'm going to play this because I know I'm going to play it after high school. I feel like so many other sports, unless you're specifically going to college for it, like nobody ever plays it again. It's like, might as well make use of my time here. And
Yeah, absolutely. I was on the golf team in high school, but I was an alternate. So my score, which alternate's a great place to be.
Yeah,
because there's not the pressure of being the 1, the 2, the 3, or the 4. By being the alternate, you still get to play all these nice country club
and then
courses.
all you can do is either play, like, say you have a great round, then you'll be in part of the score, and if not, oh well. You know?
Have fun with the other 2 guys from the other 2 schools, man.
Exactly.
Then you meet guys, and then you go play the public course that you can afford to play in high school with those guys.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a time. It's fun.
You have some nice courses in Cali too.
Oh yeah, I mean we had one like right by our house. It was one of the harder ones, and then I mean we played one in this little town called Solvang, where my uncles are originally from and my mom. And I mean that was like a private course, but that thing was tough and it was really fun, really cool. So.
Yeah. So how'd you get into? So obviously you have Uncle Marv, and you're getting exposed to songwriting at a very young age, and that's got to be a huge influence on you for wanting to do this thing. But like, when did it become like, all right, I want to be Carson Wallace, the country artist, not the golfer, not the water polo guy, not having some business, doing something in Cali. I want to take this thing and do it for real. Yeah.
I mean, I always tell people I don't feel like there was an aha moment. I feel like it was this buildup of like, okay, so this has always been a part of my life, and now I'm writing songs here and there. And I wrote songs basically as soon as I could start playing guitar. And I mean, they actually started, I guess, getting to be decent songs like later into high school and stuff. But I think it was this buildup of like momentum behind it. And then I think when I had to decide what I was going to do after high school, I was like, well, I guess it's like, let's go to a college somewhere, but let's see if I can do music while I'm doing that, you know? And so I think it kind of flipped the switch there. And even when I got here, though, I was still like, I don't know if I'm going to just write songs for other people right now and do the artist thing later, or how that's going to come about. And then it kind of like raised its hand and said, no, you're going to do the artist stuff now. Like a year of being here, I kind of had some songs that I'd written that started doing well on like TikTok and stuff for me, and had some other artists kind of say, well, hey, I kind of want to cut that. And then it did so well on TikTok for me, they were even like, dude, you should just put that out, like start the artist stuff. And so that's kind of what this first song I had out, Lonely Look Like, was that was for me. And then now these next like set of songs I'm going to be putting out, I feel like those are just songs that I've written that I've sat on a while and truly feel like, okay, this is me as an artist, and I'm not going to hate this song in 5 to 10 years, you know? And so that was my biggest obstacle, I think, is like, I want these songs to be something I'm proud of and people respect as like, these are well-written songs, you know?
Yeah, and to be young and trying to figure out, like, because you're what? You're 21?
No, 19.
You're still a baby. Yeah, you're still very young.
I'll be 20 in a month, so, yeah.
But like, to figure out what it is that you want to say at 20, so I moved here at 23, and the way I think now at 28 is different from how I thought. Even at like 24, 25, like you figure so much out in your late teens and in your early 20s, like to figure out what it is that you want to say and to be confident in what you're saying now at your age is freaking, that's huge. Like most 19-year-olds don't know what they want to say.
No, and it's tough. I can definitely see where people hit that wall, and there's still days I do when you sit down every day and you have other songwriters basically be like, all right, so you're the artist, like, what do you want to say? That's a lot of pressure, you know? It's basically like, okay, figure out your life and figure out your artistry right here. And it's like, obviously nobody's able to do that perfectly, but really for me, I'm just trying to write songs right now that, like, I do relate to, but they don't have to be my life story. For me, it's like, I want to write songs that I felt a little bit of what that song is basically putting out emotion-wise, but truly, like, do people relate to it too? Like, when I sing this song, is it believable for me to sing, but do people hear themselves in those songs, you know? And if that's the case, then it's like, that can be a Carson Wallace song, you know? The last thing I want to do is just put out songs because they're cool or they're chasing a trend or something. At the end of the day, I want it to have attain of like what I'm doing, and I want it to be something that people can really latch onto, you know?
Yeah, and you have that power right now at 19 to where when you're on stage at one of our rounds, or you're at Whiskey Jam, or you're at any of these in-town performance things, the room really pays attention. Man. Like you know how to really like inflect on there. You do so good in these rounds at this age, dude. Man. And there's other guys and girls coming up in this young crop. Like this the 18 to like 22-year-olds right now in town are so much fun to watch. Like there are like yourself, like Kenny Whitmire comes to mind, Ashley Ann comes to mind. There's this young crop, this young movement. Like I'm sure you've gotten to know these guys and girls that are also in the under 21 club playing these events.
Oh man, yeah.
So what advice would you have for someone that moves to town? Because there are kids that move here. There's a whole crop that just moved here recently that are starting their freshman years at Belmont. Like,
it's crazy.
Well, how would you best advise somebody like being able to network, not being able to get into Red Door, not being able to get into Tin Roof or get into Live Oak on a night that you're not playing? Yeah. So how have you been able to do that network and make those connections? Because you've done a pretty good job of it.
Man, I tried. I mean, I'll be honest, it's not easy. I feel like the first year I was here, I felt like I was just hitting wall after wall of like not being able to get into places or people not taking you seriously because you're a freshman at Belmont or something. But ultimately, it's just like being persistent. I think people talk about this town in general. It's like if you knock at the door long enough, somebody's going to answer, you know? And so I think it's truly just knowing that nobody else is going to do it for you. And that basically, like, if there's this passion in your heart, like, I'm a believer, so I think God puts it in your heart. And so if he's put that in your heart to be here and do this, like know that and be confident in that and then go do it, you know? Like, go meet people any chance you can get. Any round you can get into, like, go to those rounds and be present and talk to the people after they play. Don't be afraid to go up to them because you think, oh, well, I don't have a song out yet, so I'm not, like, valid enough to go talk to them, or I don't have a certain amount of Instagram followers or a certain cut. It's like, nobody cares about that. It's like, are you a good person or are you not? And are you good or are you not? And they're not going to know that until they get in a room with you, you know? So really, truly, like, know that people are out here and they want the best for you. And so just go meet anyone you can and go network, and you never know who you're going to talk to. I remember I was at a golf tournament and Hasten was there, and I didn't even really know who he was, but then someone was like, oh, that's the owner of Live Oak. I'm like, oh, well, there you go. And so it's that cool to have that connection, because obviously I'm not 21, but every time I'm in there, he's like, oh, hey, man, how are you? And it's just that thing of like, there's that certain good connection between each other, you know, and you never know who you're going to meet, you know?
Yeah, there's guys and girls that do the under 21 thing. Yeah. And they wipe off the X, or they take off their... No, man. You have so much respect, and it makes it so much easier on guys like myself and Nikki T and Ward, and people that are putting on these events and working with these bars and working with people like Hasten and Dave and Maggie at Live Oak, that you're cool to go in there because you know that, hey, in 2 years or in a year, in a month, or when you are 21, you'll be able to have a beer like everybody else. Exactly. If you choose to do that, why not come in and just take the opportunities while you can, and be grateful for the opportunity to be under 21 and be in the bar and be able to network and be able to play and showcase yourself. Like,
we couldn't have said it better,
because we've had issues with that, with guys and girls that are like even on the radio now and doing stuff that when they were under 21, we had to clean up a mess because they took off the wristband and had to defy us and drink a beer in front of the bar, and it was a pain in the ass. And I never get that from you or Kenny or Ashley or a lot of the guys and girls that we have kind of in our the young guns that are coming up right now, dude. So we appreciate that. So who were some of your like earliest like friends in town? Because there's a lot, you've done a good job of building not just one circle, but like multiple circles. Like I see you hanging out with our boy, one of my favorite guys in town, Reed Morris, all the time. Reed to me is just one of the best ambassadors to what a songwriter and what an artist is in town, as far as being just a good person. Like, so who were some of your other folks in addition to Reed and like those guys that you met? Yeah,
I mean, one of my roommates, buddy I live with now, his name's Axel Deal. He was one of the first guys I met that was truly like passionate about music like I was, and so he's working his way up too as a writer and artist. But then I actually met Tyler Chambers. He was the first guy out of that whole Georgia group I met.
Wow.
Yeah, I met him at an example here. Like, I met him at the listening room, never had talked to him before, and he played the round. I was just like, that guy's cool, music's cool, like, I'm gonna go talk to him. And it's never easy, but I did, and it worked out well. I came back and he introduced me to that whole friend group, so like Dylan Marlowe, Noah Hicks, Derek Austin, all those guys, you know, and then they all introduced me to Reed and Brandon. Brandon. And so that was really cool. And so I definitely hang out with that whole crew a whole ton. And now a lot of my closer friends are actually that whole group I was at that writers retreat with now too. You know, I mean, Clara and Jordan and Matt Mulhare and Chase McDaniel out there and Avery and Zach John King, like all those different guys. I'm always close with them and really appreciate them. And honestly, from there's a ton of people I'm acquainted with. Like, I'm thankful for guys like Heath Warren who've kind of taken me under their wing and been like, I believe in this person, you know? And so there's definitely been a lot of those guys too. But I try to keep the like close friend group pretty tight knit just because I think it's important to surround yourself with people that you feel like are only bringing you up and only like trying to make you better, you know?
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Like when I first moved to town, I was bouncing on Broadway, and that was my circle, was the guys and girls I worked with at Whiskey Row.
Yeah.
Which is very different than the guys and girls I was with after that, and very different from the folks I met during COVID, and very different from where I'm at now. You know, like over time you just meet new people, and everybody, like you said, like there's a plan. Everybody kind of comes into each other's lives for a reason, dude.
Yeah, and it's so weird because guys you think that are like so out of reach or that are so like bigger than you, like it's a matter of time and then you're like actually close with them. I mean, it's kind of been like that for me with like the Marlows, like Cameron Marlowe and Dylan Marlowe, not related, but and they
which is funny. Everybody thinks they're related.
I know, and they're two like it's totally the best guys, and I'm so thankful for them because like Cameron, I met him like over a year ago now, and I don't even know how we met, but then we got coffee and he like loved what I was doing, and now we're like managed partly by the same people and like really close. I've been on the road with him riding and stuff, and I mean like when I moved to town he felt so out of reach, and then Dylan Marlowe, same thing, like he felt so out of reach for a second there, and like now recently we've been riding and got to go out on the road with him and just hang out, and it's just I'm thankful for guys like that that'll take younger people under their wing and truly believe in them, and I'm thankful that this town is a town you can do that in, you know, because it's not everywhere that you can just meet guys like that out on the street and end up building those relationships, you know.
Yeah. So what has the road life been like? Have you been out on the bus with people? Have you been out on the Dylan Marlowe, the mini bus that Dylan is that's screeching those guys?
I did it the wrong way. I think my first road experience was on the big bus with Cameron, so I got spoiled.
What bunk were you on?
Oh, I was on the top bunk.
Okay, I've been a top bunk guy.
Yeah, I think I'm a top bunk guy. But I kind of got spoiled because I was on that, and I was like, oh, this isn't too bad, you know. But I'd never been in a van or anything. And then Dylan's bus was like not even bad. I mean, yeah, it's shorter.
Yeah, I've driven it before.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a vibe. I wasn't opposed, and if I like when I start hitting the road and stuff and have to be in a van, I'm gonna be like, dang it, I went the wrong way, you know, down the totem pole here. But no. It's been kind of fun, you know. I'm excited to get out there and be the artist on the road for sure, but I'm really thankful to get out there as a rider right now too, and like collaborate with guys like those guys and truly see what it's like so I can learn from their mistakes and learn from what they do well.
Do you remember where the shows were?
Yeah, so with Cameron, I flew into like New York, and so there was a show in New York.
In like the city?
Yeah, in the city.
Was that your first time?
No, I'd been there. We saw Stapleton in Madison Square Garden like a while back, so that was really cool. But yeah, Cam played this really cool spot there, and then we went to DC the day after, so that was really cool. And then he had a show in like Warrendale, Pennsylvania.
Oh, like, dude, that is Jurgles.
Yeah, that venue's crazy.
That's kind of where Ray's Rowdy started. Nicky T's done a lot of work there because Nicky T's from Pittsburgh, so Ray's Rowdy started in Pittsburgh, and a combination of Dusty Armadillo and Jurgles, the venues that are in Rootstown, Ohio, and Warrendale, PA, just outside of Pittsburgh, and then a festival called Country Concert that's in Fort Loramie, Ohio. That's like a 42-year family-owned festival that holds like 30 to 40,000 people. But going to those places, what was like, did you have a moment where, did you have like a rookie mistake like on the road with those guys? Think something funny?
I'm trying to think. Man, I mean, my rookie mistake was probably like, we were at this like the last night in like Warrendale, we were like, obviously, like, people drink out there and stuff, and it is whatever, but I'd never smoked a cigar. And so I was just, like, trying to figure out how to smoke a cigar for an hour. And then, like, in the meantime, everybody was, like, enjoying themselves, like, having the best time. And I was, like, inhaling the cigar smoke and everything. It sucked. So I guess you could say I looked like a big rookie out there doing that. But other than that, I mean, it was pretty fun. I mean, we just rode a ton and all hung out, and I got really close with the guys on the bus really quick, and But yeah, cigars, man.
Well, cigars, Nikki and I can get you into.
Yeah, I know, right?
We have a deal with Crowned Heads in town.
Heck yeah.
So if you want to come over to the house, and we will teach you the right way to smoke. We'll give you a full education. So the next time you're out there with Cam and the boys, you know what you're doing. Eric Dillon and the boys, because they smoke cigars too.
Yeah.
What is Cam's guitar player, Jay? It's Jake, right?
Man.
He's a Hoss cat.
Oh my gosh, they call him Hoss.
I haven't like formally met him.
Yeah.
But we saw
what an animal.
Yeah, we saw a Cameron Marlowe show at Cahoots in Lebanon.
Yeah.
And it was wild. It was a few months back. Nikki and I went, and we were like right in front of like Jake's side of the stage.
Yeah.
And he walks out and he puts the cooler right in front of his mic.
Oh,
he
yeah.
cracks open a Miller Lite. He's got the NASCAR shirt on. He's got the lid on. He is just rearing to go.
He is an animal, and he doesn't change when he gets off stage. Like
that's just him.
That's him, man. I mean, God, we had fun. He makes it just so fun, you know. Like there's never a dull moment with him. Yeah, the shotgun competitions on stage are hilarious. I mean, even like off stage, like I said, he's just fun to be around, you know. And that's what I think makes the road, like it can make or break it, is having people like that keeps it fun and really keeps it like, okay, this is like life. Like let's have fun. Let's not just like because if you look at the downside all the time, or you just try and think, oh, well, that wasn't a perfect thing, or that wasn't perfect, like the road will wear down on you so quick. I can already tell, you know. So to have guys like Jake out there that are just like keep it fun, like you have to.
And then where'd you go with Dylan?
Dylan, we went. It was this one-off show up. It was really close to Cleveland, I guess, but was 20 minutes out of town. It was a casino.
Oh, it was a casino show.
Yeah.
Okay,
which again, being underage, I'd get like approved. I had this scarlet letter of a sticker that was like not 21. I'm like, oh my gosh, man. But no, that was really fun. He opened for Scotty McCreery, so we went up there and just played that show and then came back. But we started one out there on like in the green room that we finished like that next Monday with a couple guys, Ryan Hurd and Zach Aubend, and it turned out so sick. So you never know. You just gotta go for the ride, and maybe you'll do like write something, maybe you won't. But it's all about just the hang and that connection and kind of fellowship, you know. What
was your first co-write? Because you've been in the room with a lot of people. I mean, you're casually just saying Ryan Hurd. Like, that's a big fucking right.
Man, yeah, I was thankful. It was a really cool experience. God, my first co-write. That is such a good question. I had a guy at home that's like this cowboy guy. He actually rides like PRCA Saddle Broncs. But, I mean, he's been like playing a lot of rodeos and stuff out there. So, truly, I think he was my first co-write. I mean, and we just got together.
Okay, first co-write in town.
Okay, in town, I could not tell you. That's bad, but I couldn't tell you.
How many songs are you writing, or how many writes are you doing a week now?
I mean, right now it's definitely like 5 or more.
Jeez.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think this year we're going on like 200 and something songs. So like at least 200.
Bro.
Yeah, so Man, yeah, I could not tell you when I got to town who was my first one. I bet it's somewhere in my calendar.
A write that you were your first write where you're like, oh no, I'm getting in a room with this guy or this girl.
Yeah, man,
one that you were intimidated with.
Yeah, I'm thankful. My buddy Colton Venner. I don't know if you know Colton.
Dude, yeah,
man. So him and I got coffee not long after I'd been in town. I'd been a fan of his stuff before we came to town, and so. But I'd reached out to him and he'd responded, and so we got coffee. And actually, at that time, like he was like on the brink of getting a pub deal. Like he was really close, and I was like, "Dude, about time! Like I love this guy."
Yeah.
And so we had hung, and he was like, "Well, dude, let's write a song." I was like, "Oh, whoa, really?" And so we had got together a little bit after that and wrote a song at his house. And I think that was the first one where I was like, "Dude, this guy's like really good," and really kind of made me feel like a fool in the room right now.
Yeah, like what am I doing in the room with Colton Venner?
I feel like that was it. And I think my first write with Tyler Chambers was similar too, you know. Just those rooms where you're like, oh dang, I feel like I shouldn't have been here today, you know. But those are the rooms that just, I mean, you learn and experience, and you probably did better than you think you did. But I mean, when you have somebody truly that feels like their craft is a whole nother level above yours, it can be intimidating.
Yeah, like I've had some podcast guests where I was intimidated.
Yeah.
You know, like because I started doing I got my first radio show in 2013.
Yeah.
When I was doing like college radio stuff. And at that point, that was back when I was drinking and everything I was kind of on autopilot to an extent.
Oh yeah.
But when I remember getting to town, I remember the first one where I was like, "Oh shit, we have a podcast with Ryan Nelson." It was like my 8th or 9th that we had done, and
crazy.
I was at the time I was like, and now Ryan's like one of my best friends.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
just like
funny how
shit.
that works, huh? Yeah,
Yeah, where you're like intimidated by somebody. What was the moment? Because like me, you're from very, very far away. You're from obviously a little bit further away than I am.
Super small town too, like 1,000 people.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So like, I mean, people talk about small towns out here, and I mean, there's definitely some that are smaller, but I mean, my town, like no stop, like barely a stop sign, no stoplights, like one gas station. Like,
but what was a moment of like culture shock where you're like, I'm in the South?
Yeah,
because you have to have some of that too. I know Nashville.
Yeah.
There's a little. Nashville's very much like a melting pot of like people from all over the world.
Yeah,
honestly.
I've noticed that for sure. I think maybe a culture shock was just how diverse Nashville is and how many different people from everywhere come here. But I think another culture shock, the fried chicken. I don't know why, but just like everybody like loves all fried stuff in general, and I'm like, oh, this is weird. Like we didn't really eat this at home, you know. So I feel like that, and definitely the just, I don't know, maybe a good culture shock was just how cool people are and nice people are, you know, because that's, California gets a bad rap because there's definitely that. Like, there's some people that aren't the best, you know.
Dude, I relate. I'm from New York.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in my small town, like, you even had that, but you had some good people that, I mean, the older California was really like where it was at. There was a lot of great, like, cool people. I mean, like, talk about like the last half of like 1900s or early 2000s, you know. It's like California was the cool place to be. There was cool people, but they were kind of weren't too about themselves. And so it's definitely changed. But I think that was something about the South. I was like, all these people are really cool, and even if they have some sort of status, like, they talk to you like they've known you forever, you know.
Yeah, what is LA like as a city? Because I've never been there.
You've never been?
The only place
Okay.
I've been is San Diego.
Man, I mean, I haven't been in a second, but LA is, you think it's big, but then you get there and you're like, oh, it's big. Like, I had a buddy the other day tell me, like, the first time he went to LA, he drove in at night or something, and so he was like, oh, this isn't bad. Like, the traffic, what? And then the next morning they were like, hey, let's go somewhere, and they got back on the 405 or whatever he drove in, and it's like 10 lanes of traffic, like all backed up, and he was like, oh, you know. It's like, so LA is a lot of traffic, and there's a lot of cool stuff, and it is massive though. Like, you can drive an hour depending on the time of day and still be in LA if the traffic's bad, you know. And it's like it spans a big ways, and I don't know. We've always, like, the USC games are always so fun, and then we go to like Disneyland or something, and we played a ton of water polo down there too. And so I'm excited to go back and do some music stuff there, because there's actually a lot of people that I like really respect that are there still, and so it'll be fun to go right. But yeah, my experience of LA has never been horrible, you know.
Yeah.
So,
when are you going back? Do you have a trip planned?
man, I don't know. I've talked to some like publishers and stuff out there. I ultimately don't think I'll end up with them, but like, rider trip wise, it would be fun to get something next year out there, I think, and lean into that. I feel like my music like lends itself to, it could have some crossover riders on it, and I think it would benefit from that though. You know, I think like there's some cool melody and stuff that happens when you get somebody from LA in a room, you know, and obviously everybody's flying back and forth so much now that it wouldn't be a huge deal to get out there.
Have you done the drive?
The drive from California? Yeah, right when I moved here, we did it, and it was 30 hours. Yeah, it was
That'll
rough.
put some hair on your chest right there.
Yeah, man, 3 days. It was rough, but it was just me and my dad. It was, I don't know, it was a cool experience. I won't ever do it again.
That has to be like, looking back, like, I mean, I know you're so young, and it was only like 2 years ago or whatever, but like, to have 30 hours like in a car with your dad, like, that's some real like one-on-one time, especially a trip going to college, because everybody remembers, like, I remember I only went to college like, it was like 2 hours or 2.5 hours from where I grew up. Like, I grew up right on the New York, New Jersey line, and my parents dropped me off at college. It was like, okay, home's only two hours away.
Man,
for you, it's like, all right, I'm going out here 2 time zones away.
Yeah, home's like a 6 hour flight, like combination of 2 flights. Like it's a lot more than I mean, it was fun. I mean, my dad and I have always been pretty close, so we just kind of.
What do your parents do?
Yeah, so my dad runs this irrigation district. So basically, in California, it doesn't rain year round like it does here. So all summer it's dry, basically, other than like when you get a hurricane. And so, but there's so much snow in those mountains above like where I live that like hopefully if it snows enough, it kind of melts off and goes into the lakes. And then my dad's job is basically to like get that water to farmers down in the valley that are growing like citrus or whatever it may be. A lot of citrus, a lot of like nuts, like almonds, walnuts, pistachios, all that. And so basically he's just delivering the water and divvying it up to the right people for however much they're paying for it or whatever it is, you know? So it's a whole different economy that like Nashville doesn't, like Tennessee, the South in general doesn't really like have a role for that here. You know, it's different.
Yeah. And then what does your mom do?
Yeah, my mom's always she's been at home since I like can remember, but she does like side things here and there. And then she was like enterprise, like corporate enterprise for a long time.
Oh,
She was like she dropped out of college, but then she ended up getting like she was like manager of the whole like Central Valley for enterprise or something like that. So she like she was kind of like, all right, I'm done with that.
Nice. Yeah, that's what that's funny. That's what Nikki T's dad works for. Works for Enterprise.
Hey,
yeah,
that's cool.
And we get those deals. We utilize those rental cars
when
we're going to festivals and stuff.
Yeah,
man.
it's clutch. It's clutch. Yeah. No, but I'm thankful she'd been at home too. It allowed my brother and I to like have a lot of like different opportunities and go do things that it would have been hard to do if I had 2 working parents, you know. So I'm thankful that that's how we kind of came up.
How old's your brother?
My brother's 16.
Okay, so you're the oldest.
Yeah, it was just us 2, but he's, oh man, people see us and they don't really know who's older. He's like my height, if not a little taller, and just his built. And man,
is he an athlete as well?
Yeah, he played water polo and stuff and football. It's kind of the same story, but I mean, he's kind of doing music stuff too here.
Oh, cool.
I don't know exactly what it has for him. Like I could see him going to a school like Texas or Oklahoma or something and building like a fan base out of there as an artist and then bringing it here, or he might come to Nashville. I'm not sure yet, but he's still figuring things out. So
nice.
Yeah, he's doing well though. Got a little TikTok following going.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's the TikTok life been treating you? Because you were just kind of, so you moved here right after COVID then, right?
2021.
Yeah, so right after all the COVID stuff. And so the TikTok thing was popping and was like on the list of things that you don't just have to write songs and play shows and meet people. Now you have to have a presence on the internet.
Exactly. I mean, I feel like for me, I wish I would have leaned into it harder right when I got to town and built some up during that, because I feel like that was like the prime of like you could literally post like one video and like I feel like now you still can post one video and blow up. We see this with like Oliver Anthony or something like that, but back then like it could be anything, like a cover or something, and you never knew what was going to happen. Now it truly is about consistency and high quality content and making it really good and just stand out. And sometimes it still doesn't, but I mean, for me, it's part of it. You know, it's like, how bad do you want the artist thing? How bad do you really want it? Because you'll make the sacrifice of your time and effort to go post on TikTok and get that rolling if you truly want it that bad. You know?
And that's hard to do when you're writing 5 songs a week.
Yeah, I mean, it's a struggle. My management gets mad at me all the time because I'll be in one right in the morning and another in the afternoon. And they're like, we need you for this or this. I'm like, all right, I'm trying, you know. But I try to post TikToks in between or whatever it is. And it's changing now. It's like the photo carousels. I feel like those do better than straight up videos now sometimes. And it's just trying to always stay on top of it. And for me, it's a tool. It's not like, I don't want to think of it as like a make or break. Like, oh, this song has to blow up on TikTok before I put it out. It's like, no. I'm going to use TikTok as a tool to promote this song, but I love this song and I think it's good. And so we're going to put this out, use it as a tool. And regardless, it's like building up your catalog as an artist and giving people things to listen to is kind of my focus in the next like year, 18 months or something like that, is really just building it up to where like the foundation's there and it's ready. And hopefully one of those songs, each song's kind of like a lottery ticket, just like each TikTok video is, assuming that they're all good and they're all high quality. It's just a matter of which one's going to pop, you know?
Yeah, have you had any? Because I'm not on TikTok a whole lot. We've outsourced it. We've outsourced it for a while. Now I'm starting.
For you.
now I'm starting to post the TikToks myself and generate the clips myself and working a lot on that. So for like I'm starting to get on there more, but have you had anything like in particular kind of like just
I mean that Lonely Look Like song, I never had videos that got like like multi-million views or something like that, but I had multiple videos with hundreds of thousands of views and like kind of consistently. And so I was like, okay, people are eating this song up, like this is like, yeah, let's put this out. And so it's hard because you kind of like you want that to happen with every song, but truth is it doesn't. And so like with this next song I'm putting out Friday, Leaving Season, like it's had like some videos here and there do decent, but hasn't blown your knocked your socks off. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm gonna put it out, and you can always promote it after you put it out too. And so it's you just gotta remind yourself that from time to time, and remember it's just a tool, and it's just one social media thing.
Yeah,
you know?
Dude, you're wise beyond your years. I don't feel like I'm talking to a 19-year-old right now.
Oh shoot,
you're killing it. So Leaving Season, talk about that a little bit. I heard you played it at one of our rounds here recently.
Yeah.
Who'd you write it with? Why that song is the next single? Because when you're writing 5 a week, you have a lot to choose from.
1,000,000%, and it's you. I mean, you kind of just made my point. I wrote that song a year and a half ago now, and so it was, I think, the first song that I'd written where when we finished, I was like, this is a great song. Like, this stands up to a lot out there, you know? And so I wrote that with Nathan Wilson, Darian Lay, and Liam Coleman. There's a second there where we all wrote quite a bit, too. And so that song, like, I don't know, there's something about it that I've lived with it a year and a half now and played it out. And it's still, like, it's something that I go to and I'm like, I love this song and I think it's good. And so I'll play it in meetings or at rounds or something like that. And it's always had a good reaction. And I think with people leaving for college and stuff this fall a lot, it's like kind of worked out timing wise perfect, where I was like, this song, I feel like a lot of people are kind of going through what this song portrays and will continue to throughout the rest of the year. So it's like, let's put this song out now and give it a chance. And I think it's truly a display of good songwriting above all else, and like a song that people can grasp onto and really feel like, wait, that's me. I'm going through that right now, you know? And so it's a little different approach. It's like, I mean, some people say it reminds them of some of the Zach Bryan stuff or something like that. And hey, I'll take that, you know? But I don't know. I'm trying to just keep my artistry. The last thing I want to do is beat it to the ground of the same thing over and over again. So I want to put out stuff that all is in the same vein, but maybe a little different. So like this song is obviously a little bit different than Lonely Look Like, and the stuff I have coming after it is going to be a little different, you know? So
yeah, dude, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, man.
So what's kind of the next stage as far as your artist career? So like you have management that you're working with.
Yeah.
Like, you're clearly doing the artist thing. You've gotten a taste of the road as a writer, which that's how a guy like Morgan started going out with FGL. That's how obviously like Ernest and Hardy, they all kind of came out of the FGL tree. You know, you look at guys like Ray Fulcher that are under that Luke Combs tree that go out on the road and write, and now are doing the artist thing at a very high level. What's kind of next? Because have you gone out and done like full band shows and stuff like that?
So we played Whiskey Jam in April and probably will soon again. But other than that, no, Whiskey Jam was my first full band show with my own songs. So at home, I played a ton of like acoustic, just me and a guitar stuff. And I've done that here a lot, obviously. And so I think going forward, it's like just kind of taking it day by day. The last thing I always tell people, it's like, I definitely like plans here and there, but I never want to be one that's like, well, by next year we have to have this, or I haven't succeeded. It's like, for me, I think what God has for me is like so much bigger than I can ever imagine. And if you had told me when I moved to town 2 years ago that this is what I would be doing in 2 years, like everything that's happened in the last like year, I would have been like, oh, you're crazy, you know? So I've kind of just figured out to where it's like, I'm going to do my best each and every day and like set the goals where it makes sense, but not overset goals to where it's like, oh, well, I didn't succeed if I didn't do this, you know? But I could see myself in the next like year or so just like continuing to get these songs out, continuing to build up this fan base and foundation of a catalog and stuff, and going and playing like acoustic supporting for some guys here and there on the road, just to continue to be on the road a little bit and get on some buses and write with guys as like mentors and as like maybe I'll open for them. I'm not sure yet, but just build up this kind of foundation to where when I do have that one song pop or a build up of a couple different songs, like I'm ready and I feel like I'm seasoned on the road and I'm seasoned in the room and like have a catalog of artist stuff for people to go listen to kind of take advantage of that moment when a song does pop and it does like truly take me to that next level, you know. And it's not going to be an easy road, and very rarely is it a short road to success, but I'm ready for it and I'm excited, you know. So
yeah, dude, I mean, you're killing it. Like it's been cool to watch you grow and do what you're doing, and we're very happy to have you in like our Raise Rowdy family. I'm trying to think of when the first round was that we had you, because I think I had you in the in the round days.
I think
for sure.
I met I think when I met Hasten that day, Nikki T, when I had been talking a little bit, and then when him and I finally, like Hasten and I finally connected, he was like, all right, come play, you know? And so I think that was the first time probably, and I mean, I'm just so thankful for you guys. You guys have been nothing but the best to me, and I told you this the other night, but it's like, I feel like I wouldn't be where I am or as far along in my career if I didn't have stages to play on in Nashville like you guys have given me, you know? And I think it's so important when you're meeting different people, whether it's a publisher or management or a label situation, and they're like, well, when are you playing next? And to be able to tell them like, hey, I'm playing a Live Oak with like Outside the Round or Raise Rowdy, it's like, it's so helpful, and it truly furthers and gives me an opportunity and other artists to showcase what we're doing, you know? So I can't thank you guys enough.
Dude, and I'm stoked. We have you on I'm doing my first ever anniversary show.
Yes, sir.
The end of this month, in September. And we've got the lineup for that we'll be putting out closer, but I try to structure it where like I have different crews on there, different people. Like I like, Nikki likes to do this too, where sometimes we will ask somebody, like we'll ask you or Reed or whoever to bring, like, hey, you want to bring 2 or 3 friends with you to fill the round. But other times we like to kind of put people that we think need to play together. And the round I've got you on is with some other young folks, and one of them is a kid named Aiden Canfield. Yeah, who I don't know if you do. Okay, so you know Aiden, So I figured you would. I hoped you would know each other. Have you met Landon Smith yet?
Yes. Yeah. So, his manager actually goes to Beaumont. So, yeah. So they're both 2 young guys that I feel like are truly killing it.
And then probably my other favorite, like under the 20, like one of my favorite under the, I gotta make sure I say one of my favorite, because there's so many of you guys and girls. We got Shelby Ray on that round too, so it's gonna be the 4 of y'all together, which to me is like, remember, like, I want it to be like that round specifically to be like, we had Carson, Landon, Aiden, and Shelby together. And then fast forward a few years from now, people are going to be like, how the hell did you have those 4 together? Because you guys all have such bright freaking futures.
Man, yeah.
And that to me is like what we like doing is finding young folks or older folks that we believe in and giving them a spot to play. And really, that's part of the reason I wanted to have you on this podcast, dude. Man. And I'm happy. So your first podcast in the books now. What'd you think?
I enjoyed it, man. This is awesome. I mean, we're just hanging.
Yeah. Do you listen to a lot of podcasts and stuff?
I've tried to recently more. I mean, when you're riding all the time and playing all the time, it's like you can't get in the car and listen to music too. It's just too much. And so I've definitely dove into it more recently on the podcast.
Any favorites that you like listening to? Like you got into Rogan yet? Rogan requires a lot of time.
No, I haven't dove into Rogan yet.
They're like 3 hours an episode.
That's crazy.
Mine I try to keep right about an hour.
There you go. I love that.
The hour to me is like the sweet spot.
Yeah, I feel like that too. I've listened to Bobby Bones does one with a lot of writers and artists. I've listened to that quite a bit. Ern does one, just being Ern.
Oh yeah, he does a great job.
I'm excited they're doing that again. And then I've listened to a couple, like my church here in town that I go to, Ethos, they do one, so when I miss service, I'll go to that. Or there's a couple other churches outside of town that have some great ones I'll listen to. And then there was this like one that talked about like the Old West that Reed and I were listening to a little bit, and it's just all about like California history and stuff. It's pretty crazy. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but cool. I enjoyed that too.
Do you take pride being? I know we had you on one of our West Turnt nights, and we're hoping to do another one of those again before the end of the year or early next year. We're hoping to do on a Tuesday or a Sunday at Live Oak. It seems like there's like guys and girls from the West, like Nebraska over, I'll say, take a lot of pride in coming from the West, and guys like yourself, like Ian Munsick, like Tyler Halverson, like there's just a lot of guys and girls like even like Jenna Paulette or Jenna LeMaster.
Yeah, I love all of them.
That take pride in being from the West, especially being here in Nashville, where country music at one point was Western. Like you had the Bakersfield scene.
It's crazy, which I'm an hour from Bakersfield, to the north, and I wasn't born soon enough to really see what that scene was like, but I definitely take pride in it. I feel like I might not dress quite like Ian, quite like leaning that hard. And at one time, I was definitely like when my mom dressed me, I was in pearl snaps and cowboy hats and stuff. And I truly don't feel like my music is the perfect representation of that at the moment. But I feel like I take so much pride in it and value that lifestyle so much. I mean, I grew up like riding horses and working cattle. I showed cattle all throughout high school.
You showed cattle. Did you ever have one where one was like a pain in the ass?
Oh, all the time, man. I mean, those things, you're basically breaking a wild animal into, like, domesticating them into being able to lead them around on a halter. So, yeah, you definitely have pain. And you have cattle, like, run away. You have them, like, run you over, kick you. Like, it's a joy. But, no, I take pride in it so much. I think there's so much value in that lifestyle and just what it teaches you. And I truly think it kind of gives you an edge when you grow up doing that stuff. There's a certain amount of work ethic and just perspective on life in general that you get by being from the West, and especially if you lean into the Western lifestyle of riding horses and working on ranches or whatever that may be. I think it's something that not everybody gets to experience. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. So got some closing questions for you right here. So you're as a concert goer, as a music fan, your dream show. They could be dead, they could be alive, it could be any genre. We'll pick three people.
Dead or alive.
Dead or alive. So you have like a headliner, you have a direct, look like how like the Wallen shows right now have Morgan and like Ern or Hardy and then Bailey. Like what would your dream thing as a concert goer?
Man, if it's dead or alive, like, it might sound cliche, but either Johnny Cash or Merle Haggard would be insane for sure. I don't know where on the direct support.
Okay, well either way, we can say co-headlining on that.
Yeah, there you go, man. I just grew up on that stuff, and that was a huge influence on me for sure. So, them, and then man, like it would be so cool. Like the Eagles, I think would be insane. I've like been the biggest fan of the Eagles and just love all of their stuff. And gosh, this is going to be random, but honestly, like, I think in their prime, either Stone Temple Pilots or Nirvana or something like that.
Yes.
I just hate that those guys, like, passed away so like as soon as they did, because man, there's some of those bands that are still together, but it would have been so cool to see one of them in their prime of like the early to late 90s, It's like STP is one of my favorites. Nirvana's obviously like Kurt Cobain's insane.
Scott Weiland.
Yeah, Scott Weiland, and then Alice in Chains too, man. Bro. Oh, so good. And I think those songs lend themselves to so much to like what I'm doing a little bit. You can definitely see how I'm influenced by them. And country music in general, like the songwriting and stuff, you listen to it and it's like, okay, some of this stuff crosses over to what's happening in country music right now. Obviously you have somebody like Co Wetzel that like specifically says like I listened to grunge and country growing up and now I'm Co Wetzel. And so it's like, but there's a lot of people I feel like that are influenced by it, me included, So
yeah,
such a random answer to that question.
No, that's a great fucking answer.
Yeah.
I love that shit. That's a good answer. Your dream venue to play, like Carson Wallace at so-and-so.
I know a lot of people say it, but I've never even been, but it just looks so cool. Red Rocks.
Yeah.
Red Rocks or, man, there's some venues in Montana and stuff or Wyoming. Like, it would be so cool just to play a big show out there. I don't even know, like, some of the bigger shows they have, but it would be pretty dope.
Like, like Cheyenne Frontier Days or something. Like, just one of those things.
Cheyenne Frontier Days would be insane.
Because that's that full circle thing for you growing up, doing the cattle, cattle thing,
rodeo,
that you were doing.
Everything else, man. So that would be cool. Also, I think it would be really dope. There's a venue in California that it's like they have some shows that are just insane venues. You know, it's like I don't even, for me, it's not necessarily like the venue size or something like that. It's just like what feels special and kind of set apart. You know, so there's a few different spots, and I'm like, it would be so cool to play there.
Well, when you're
day.
playing Cheyenne Frontier Days one day, I'd like a guest list.
Come
spot,
on, man.
if
Come on.
possible, if you're able to squeeze
That'd
it
be
in.
so cool. Yeah, no, I love it.
One of your what's like your favorite spot to go to in Nashville? It could be like food wise.
Okay.
Where's a good food spot? Because you're a Belmont kid, so you've spent a lot of time in the 12 South area.
Oh, I know, man. Dude, food wise though,
Or even outside of that.
yeah, man. I'm trying to think. It's bad because we were talking about this the other day. When you're a writer, like artist or something, it consumes you to the point where it's like, what do I even do for fun? You know,
Yeah.
out here. But man, honestly, it's gonna sound funny, but I hit Baja Burrito pretty often.
Bro.
Yeah. It's just, it goes hard. I don't know.
Yeah, I was actually talking about that with my girlfriend the other day.
Yeah.
'Cause she took her daughter over there for the first time to
Yeah.
Baja Burrito, and she's like, it's just a really good burrito, and their bowls are good, and it's an interesting part of town too. It's right there by Guitar Center.
It's hard to beat. It's hard to beat. But no, I love that. And then as far as just like favorite thing to do around Nashville, man, I mean, you go to like Leaper's Fork and just, I love getting out there because it kind of reminds me a little bit of home and ranches and stuff, and getting out to where you don't see people. Like, oh, we did like a photo shoot like past Leaper's the other day, like in the middle of nowhere, and we stumbled across this like massive dairy out there. I'm like, where even are we? Like, it felt like a whole different world. But I just love getting out to places like that and really feeling like out of the city. You know?
It's important.
Yeah.
It's important to be out of the
Kind of
get out
ground
the
you
city.
back and remind you like why you're in the city and like what you're doing that for and everything else, you know? So
Yeah, like when I first moved to town, I lived in Spring Hill. I don't know
Yeah.
if you know where Spring Hill's
Yeah, I do.
at.
Yeah.
It's about an hour south of town.
Yeah.
I would commute from there up to Broadway 6 days a week.
No
And
thanks.
I was at the mercy of I-65 going through Williamson
that'll
County.
do it to you, man.
Going
Oh,
up 65
yeah.
and hitting that Brentwood, Cool Springs, Franklin traffic.
Yeah.
But it was nice to be out in
Totally.
Murray County.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
nice to be kind of out
on,
there in a way.
yeah.
You know?
So cool.
It's good stuff, dude. Well, leaving season comes out. We're dropping this podcast, and it'll be out when we're dropping this.
Heck yeah.
We're dropping it on the same day. We wanted to
Yeah.
make sure we did that for you.
Man, that's
leaving
fire.
season will be out, man. I'm super excited for you for what
Thank
the
you,
future
man.
brings. The fact that you're only 19, soon to be 20, and also, by the way, I've made this promise to a lot of guys and girls. When you turn 21, we are going to throw you a big ass. We're gonna have some part in a big ass 21st birthday
Come
party,
on, man.
being that we've known you for so
I
long at a
know.
young age.
It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be quite the experience. that'll be a heck of a day. But
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
we'll make sure that we made that special for you. Where do
Man.
people go to find you? It's Carson Wallace Music on
Yeah,
everything.
Carson Wallace music on everything: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all of it.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, man,
Yeah,
we
man, I
appreciate
appreciate
you.
you.
And happy to have you as
Yes,
as
sir.
one of our little brothers in this Raise Rowdy thing that we're
Man.
doing, and so happy to have you as a part of the family, and
So
excited for
thankful.
what's to come, bro.
Yes,
Leaving
sir.
season's gonna be. I have a
Come
good feeling
on.
about leaving season. I really
too.
do, and I feel like all the stars are aligning for you right now, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. I'm so thankful for you guys, and just thankful to be on here, man. It means the world.
Hell yeah. Well, y'all be sure to check out our boy Carson Wallace. His new single, Leaving Season, is out right now. Y'all be sure to go and stream the heck out of that thing. And don't just stream it, buy it on iTunes as well. Support our little brother over here. Be sure to follow him on Carson Wallace Music. And be on the lookout. He plays our events very frequently. If you're here in Nashville or you're visiting Nashville and you see him on the lineup, you don't want to miss it, because one day, not too far from now, you will be paying money to go and see him live, all places all around the country, buying tickets to the Carson Wallace shows. And we appreciate him very much and happy to have him as a part of the family. Shout out to our friends from Big Friendly Productions. Appreciate them supporting the program. Of course, Saxman Studios, our friends from Whale Tail Media, our boy Matt McElwain behind the camera. Be sure to follow along at raisedrowdy.com. If you like the podcast, tell your mama and them. Be sure to like, rate, subscribe, do all of that shit. And you can find us at Outside the Round on all of the social media platforms. My boy Carson Wallace, for old sweet boy behind the camera, I'm Matt Burrill, and this has been Outside the Round.
Never been the kind for staying in one place for too long. I ain't never been the best at saying I love you to a girl I love. Only got a couple tricks on my sleeve. They usually just make them leave. So if you know me, if you really know me, money for sure.